Not the most creative day, but a day that I probably needed. It was quietish. So this morning I wrote the story for next week, and I thought I'd get that done because at least I know that's kind of the first part of it done. And then realising it was a little bit quieter today, I decided to bite the bullet. Matt, thank you ever so much for your suggestions and stuff. I kind of knew. We're going to talk about switching a NAS, which is kind of done. So that's been my afternoon's work. I wrote and worked at home till about 2:30, came in here, and then I decided, right, today's the day to set the new NAS up. So funnily enough, I used my video from last year to explain to myself how to set the NAS up. It's amazing how much the quality of my videos has come on, is all I can say. This new Canon has raised the game. It looks so different, but it actually wasn't a bad explainer, that video. So anyway, the GT is on my desk now. It's configured. There was one or two mistakes I made. For instance, when I made the first storage pool, I did it to RAID 0, which meant I had to delete that first pool, start all over again. I hadn't had anything on it at that point, and then start to build up the new pool in RAID 5. And then I'll create the personal folder, which is on the desktop. And I've got the other NAS here. Both are on the network. So the old NAS is on the floor behind me on the network. And currently it's transferring the movies over. Everything else has gone over. The three big ones are movies, photos, and music. So I've done the movies because that's the smallest of the big ones. Then when I go, I'll set music and photos updating. So the only... No, I should be able to reach my NAS at home tomorrow, of course, because it's still built on the network. So I think it's going okay. The proof of the pudding, of course, won't be until I finally get to... I've got a physio appointment tomorrow morning, but then I'll come in here, I'll work tomorrow and also spend some time just on the NAS. Then, assuming that I can access everything off of the new NAS, and that, say, the music's all gone over with metadata in place and all the album art in place, my photos are all there, then I'll take the old NAS home, and I guess what I've got to do then is go through that whole same position of getting the NAS on the network at home. Then it will get an IP address, and then I can set up sync and backup, because then the sync and backups will be quite small, and it will give me flexibility. So if I come back from London late one day with shooting with a load of 200-300 photos on the SD card, I can put it into NAS at home, upload it, and sync to... I'm assuming it can sync and back up both ways. It's all a learning experience, and I kept putting it off. I did briefly phone the guy that I knew from Ugreen today, and he was really helpful. But then I just decided I needed to bite the bullet and go with it. I knew the other NAS was safe, so I knew that I was not going to delete the information on there. Yeah, I'm just a bit anxious, that's all. It's all new. As you know, I haven't done any of this before, and now I'm leaning so heavily into NAS. They're a really big part of my workflow and day, so it needs to work. I can see that the lights are still flicking, so movies obviously still going over. That wasn't big yet. Now, that was the other thing. A couple of things I learned last night. I didn't mention, yes, I thought it was going to air, I don't think I mentioned it yesterday. I nearly didn't make the vlog today, because I was so engrossed in that. I thought, no, I've got to stop and get it done. I don't want to break it. I saw Casey make his video about having not having run every day for, I don't know, 700 days. And I'm desperate not to let this streak break. It's just at times it's not as easy, but it was the right thing to do today because it was quiet and everything else. I didn't post a video today. Ugreen came back to me with two very small alterations, and I said, no, it's fine. She said, if it can't be done, I said, no, I'd like it to be as perfect as possible. I really do like working with them. I love their gear, and I want to make this a long-term thing. So I said, it's not a problem. So I came in, made those changes. I've sent her the link, and we should be good to go on Monday now. So, okay, this is the first week I haven't done anything. I might make a short tomorrow, but I doubt it. But the channel's still ticking along. People are still clicking. People are still viewing. And if it means, rather than putting up a bad video today, it was more important I did this. And you've been really kind to me and sort of saying, don't beat yourself up. And I'm not. I actually feel reasonably calm about it. I'm not sitting here sulking that I haven't posted a video this week. It's just the way it's gone. But one will go up on Monday. And if I'm very lucky, I'll get another one up next week as well. Yes, I didn't mention, or maybe I did mention yesterday, I don't think so. When I thought it was AirPlay off the phone to the TV, obviously that was the wrong way to go, and Steve mentioned there was an app, and yes, there is an app. I did mention that yesterday. So last night I got in and started watching it. There were subtitles on all of the bits of video that we were looking at, and I now think I've solved it, I think. When I looked at the NAS today, you can turn subtitles off at the source, and I assume that's what it is. You couldn't turn them off on the app, which was surprising, but I think I've done the right thing in turning them off at the source. So that is one thing. I was watching the newsroom. It wasn't Jeff Bridges, it's Jeff Daniels that's in it. Started rewatching that last night. It's really good, actually. We haven't watched it. I think it's on Amazon. When I watched it on Amazon, it's in 4K. I didn't know, and this is me being really naive, and I'm sorry about this. I shouldn't be running a tech channel. Please take me down. I didn't realise that DVDs were such low quality. They're 480. These ones I'm ripping are 480. I think Blu-rays are 720, are they? But they're not 1080, and they're certainly not 4K. Really, I just thought that, naively, I thought that DVDs were good quality. But of course, they're old tech, aren't they? We're going back, what, 15 years for DVDs, I'm guessing? Maybe 20 years that DVDs were a thing. TVs were different, our expectations were different. Hell, yeah. So when I was watching Newsroom on Amazon, it was in 4K, but on the DVDs, it's in 480, which, okay, is great for storage, but it just surprised me what low quality are. I know I've got Michael Jackson's History. Is it the last? Yeah, the last tour he was going to do. I've got that DVD. I don't know where, it must be in the cupboard downstairs. I'll try and find that and get that ripped. I've got some Veeps, a series called Veep, V-E-E-P, about the Vice President. It's a really good comedy, kind of like West Wing kind of thing. I haven't done any ripping today, haven't put any albums on today because it's all been about getting the NAS set up and working. So that's what my day's been. And hopefully tomorrow when I come in, it'll be a calmer day. The other thing, this place is really beginning to tick me off. It's too messy. I've looked at a load of boxes to take down and throw away over the weekend. I'm going to get more boxes out behind that shelf at the weekend. False tabletop things I never use anymore. My style's changed. They've gone. I just need to get rid of as much as I can in here. I'm building a corner over there of stuff that I haven't opened or haven't used, which is, I know, horrendous, but it's a fact. And then today also, I did have the stuff turn up from Honor. So I've got the pencil, which looks, well, it looks exactly like an Apple Pencil. The keyboard, this has clearly all been used before, but the keyboard feels a little bit kind of flimsy-ish. But I've got the keyboard, and I've got the Honor Magic Pad 4 IMAX Enhanced, apparently. It's smaller than the iPad, probably about the same width, but more 4K dimensions. So I'd be interested to see what that looks like. I mean, the screen on the phone was really, really good. So I think next week I'll try and engineer a story about that. And then the other thing that's been a curveball over the weekend is it looks like I'm not going to get to the Lords on Sunday. I think as the close of play was just a moment ago, and they are... So the Kiwis need 218 to win, but they've only got seven wickets in hand. We've taken 3 wickets already, and that's the final innings of the match. So I think most of you that watch this are in the UK, but if you're watching this overseas, with cricket you get 10 wickets per innings. So England batted first, all 10 wickets out. New Zealand batted second, all 10 wickets out. Then it starts again. England have batted, all their 10 wickets are out. We're now trying to get 10 wickets of the Kiwis. Now, they say it's bad weather tomorrow, and that's my only hope that I might get to Lords on Sunday. If we only play till lunchtime or something, and we only get 1 or 2 wickets, and the rest of the day's rain, then I'll get some play on Sunday. It would be a real pain to go. I would go if New Zealand, it's enough rain, but New Zealand only need, or we only need 2 wickets or something on Sunday. I'll still go for the atmosphere and for the occasion. And I will take the train in, so it means I'll be able to have Pimm's as well. But yeah, it doesn't look good for Sunday. I think but I don't know what happens about refunds. I know if it's completely rained off or completely, the match is finished, obviously I'd get a refund. But there are rules in place now about so much play and how much, I guess it's done pro rata and there's a percentage, I don't know. But anyway, so where I was getting anxious about how I was going to vlog at the weekend, I don't think that'll be an issue now because I've got a feeling if I am at Lords, it won't be for that long. And I haven't really, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, England are in control. The good news is it looks like we're going to win the Test match. Bad news is I might not get tickets. I think with some still available at the Oval, so we might try and sort of push it down the road a bit and go to the Oval instead. So that's kind of been the day. It's left me feeling, do you get those days that everything in here feels a mess? It really has got to me today. It just feels a mess. I need to have as much of a sort out as possible and decide, no, I haven't used that in X amount of time. It can go. I'm not going to use it. I think I need to be brutal like that and just have as big a clear out as I possibly can without wasting too much time. But while it was quieter and I decided I wasn't posting video today, I think I've made really good use of the time. I'm glad I started yesterday, well, this week, learning how to rip DVDs. I've kept some good notes on that, so when I get back to ripping DVDs, hopefully I'm more organised with that too. And that movie database works really well. On the newsroom, for instance, it added all of the actors in, all of the metadata, art, it was all there. It was really good, and it breaks down really neatly into chapters, into episodes. So, you know, I'm moving along. And as long as everything transfers over really well now, I'm really worried that the music, I've downloaded the Theatre app on there, the music app on there, the sync and backup ready for it, the cloud drive ready for it. I need to begin air gapping more. I've spoken about it on the video next week, and I will begin, I think, just air gapping some of maybe the most recent week's photos onto Google Drive until I know they're done and edited, and then I can delete them. I'm just going to use the 15 gigs that are free, but as long as I stay on top of it, remember just to get into that workflow and routine, I think air gapping is not a bad thing. I've been lucky in that I haven't lost anything. And when I set the NAS up wrong to start with in RAID 0, I knew down the road that was a mistake. So as much as it cost me a bit of time in trying to reset everything up, at least I know now they're in RAID 5. And it's a really pretty NAS. I've taken it off the floor, it's now sitting on a desktop. A, because it looks good, but equally because I'm using it so much more. I'm always going for the NAS, and now it's up there, putting the SD card straight in there, putting an external drive in there. It's just become, suddenly, I get the NAS thing now, I really do. Matthew had a video up yesterday about the Canon R6V, I want to rewatch that, and clearly I haven't won the competition with Canon. I haven't seen them announce who's won it, but I haven't been notified. So unless they're very, very, very slow in announcing the winner, I don't know, but as yet, I haven't got another three Canon R50Vs coming my way. I think that's about it. I'm going to get out of here fairly soon. I just thought, get this done, get this uploading, as long as there's enough bandwidth, of course, because of all the data I'm transferring. I'll leave everything booted up and a bit of a mess in here tonight, but then I'll come in tomorrow and try and have a clearer day. I've also taken the podcast mic off the edge of the desk. Sad times, but I think for the time being, it's kind of clear that's not happening in that manner, at least. So now it's a case of just clearing the desk, having a bit more space. I love to work clean and tidy, and in here at the moment isn't clean and tidy. It's not very me, and it's not making me happy. So that's why I need to sort out. I just need to, while I'm a bit quieter, just need to calibrate things and make sure I'm feeling creative again. Hasn't been the most creative week, but it's already halfway through the year, so I guess a tiny little creative break isn't a bad thing. Right, I think that's all I've got to say. That is all I've got to say. So I will catch you over the weekend, post physio, and hopefully with good news about the new NAS. And thank you for all of your support on this. I know I've been a nerd, but hey, I think that's why we hang out, right? Because it's fun just doing these things together. I will speak to you sometime on Saturday, he says, before the next siren comes along. Speak to you then.